I'm Chris Hansen, and I'm here to talk about the CW90 and the CW90X over and under check wires. We have both units here. We have the CW90X and the CW90. The CW90X features a piezo keypad, which is a keypad that has no moving parts. It is designed to withstand knife cuts. You could actually stab the 0 button on this unit, and it would not stop functioning, and it would not ingress water. The CW90X is IP69K rated. The CW90 has a membrane style keypad, and if you looking at the front here, the differences, you can see that the CW90 has 1 through 9 and an enter button on the keypad. This unit is IP66 rated. One thing that the two units have in common is the breather vent. The back of each unit there is a breather vent installed that allows the pressure inside the indicator case and the outside of the case to be equalized. Typically these units will be installed in a hostile environment. For example, maybe in a real cold area, and then it would be washed down with high temperature, high pressure water. By use of the vent, you have the pressure equalized, and water is not wicked in past the seal in the unit. Very important feature, and a feature that allows us to get that IP69K rating. The wireless option, one of the options for the CW90 or the 90X is wireless. On this particular CW90X here, the wireless option is installed. If you look at the large cord grip in the middle, you see a little bit of the antenna sticking out. That is a really clean looking installation for a wireless installation. The rest of the wireless option is actually enclosed in the case itself in the IP69K environment. You're still able to rotate the indicator back and forth in its column without any obstruction, with a little bit of antenna sticking out. So that's a real nice looking wireless option. The load cell cord grips on the unit are also designed to get us that IP69K rating. We'll talk a little bit now about the board, the main board in the units, and some of the connections and options that are on them. All the connectors on the CW90 or the 90X, same main board, are the cage style. So what that is they're all kind of spring-loaded. They're spring-loaded. So there's a constant tension, a little bit of tension put on all the connections of all the wires. That's extremely important if you're in any kind of environment where there's vibration, or sometimes drastic changes in temperature can cause something like that to loosen up. But with this style of connector, that doesn't happen. So that's really nice connectors. The first connector that's highlighted there is the load cell connection. That's where your load cell would be connected. The second connector is one of the COM ports. There's 2 COM ports standard on this unit. That's the RS-232 full duplex port. The next one highlighted here is RS-232 or 20 milliamp. There's also 4 digital I/O on the main board. This has a nice feature above that connector for the digital I/O. There are 4 bright LED lights that come on when that output is actually tripped. So that's a really nice feature to be able to see that, have physical evidence that it's tripped. If you talk a little bit about COM3 here, where it's an optional connector you could put on some of the option boards there. On this particular unit, we had, of course, the wireless is installed in this one, but it wouldn't have to be a wireless option. You could use a direct USB to serial, or fiber optic could be installed there. I'm kind of looking at some of the jumpers that are on the main board. The one highlighted right now is for your sense lines. So that would be if you were using a 4-wire or 6-wire load cell connection. That's where you would select use of sensing or not. The second one highlighted here is for firmware updating, one of the real exciting things about the CW90X or the CW90 is the ability to update the firmware by flashing it. So you would do this, it would be accomplished by using our Revolution 3 software. And you could just flash the firmware, and that's the jumper that would allow you to do that. The next jumper that's highlighted is the PC control, or the power control. This unit has a power button on the front, and if you press that button, you can toggle the power on and off, unless you move the position of this jumper. That's important. In some instances, you may not want somebody to turn the power off of the unit, and it would be on at all times. For instance, with the wireless option, maybe you're grabbing weight information to a PC somewhere, and you don't want anybody cycling power. So that's what that jumper is for. The next set here is for configuration. So we also, if you look on the other side of the keypad, you've got a menu button. Anytime that menu button was pressed with that jumper on, you could go through all the menu settings. Audit trail. This unit has an audit trail, so you go through the audit trail and the configuration and setup and calibration. All the menu settings would be available to you. Of course, in many instances, you don't want all the menu settings to be available, so you would remove that jumper, and then when the operator pressed the menu button, he would just be able to see the audit trail, the time and date, and the brightness of the display, and exit. When the technician wanted to calibrate or get into configuration, you would then remove an access screw that's at the bottom of the case, and would it's a standard Rice-Lake push button to get into configuration then. I'll talk a little bit about the bases themselves, and in particular the load cells. The CW90X uses a hermetically sealed stainless steel load cell. Of course, that's IP69K rated. The CW90 uses an aluminum style load cell that is environmentally sealed, and that is IP66 rated as a unit. Another feature on the bases is the feet themselves. There are 6 feet on the unit. There's 1 in each corner of the base, and then 2 at the back of the column. The rubber that's around the feet actually extends up the threads of the foot itself. So these units are NSF approved, food grade, clean room type environment. So what happens there, the reason that's important is when you've installed this unit in your environment and you've got it where you want it, and you've got it leveled, and you're going to take those jam nuts on the feet and tighten them up. When you do that, there is still no exposed threads. Further, the open design of the base itself, in a washdown environment, everything just washes right through. It's all open in the bottom. There are 5 overload stops on the unit, 1 in each corner, and then 1 in the middle on the bottom of the cell. And the column itself is designed in a way that everything washes off. It's all angled, it's all angled design. It's actually installed with 4 large bolts here. There's 2 bolts at the back and 2 underneath. Very rigid, plus the 2 feet at the back of the column. So real sturdy and real rigid, and thick gauge. It's a standard 12-inch height, but that could be customized. Thank you very much. That concludes the CW90, CW90X over and under check weigher presentation. Thank you.